Hello, it's Chaplin73, and you're joining me here again for another interview with another artist. And today I am joined by the lovely Non. Hello, Non.
Hello, Darren. Hello, everybody.
I had the pleasure of meeting Non a few weeks ago in person. Yes, in person, and not through a screen, which is a rare occasion just lately. And we were both at the My Dog Size exhibition, and we met up and had a chat, and she kindly agreed to do the interview today. So I will crack straight on with the first question, which is,
okay.
Non, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and where you're based?
I'm Non. I am an artist. I paint, cut stencils, spray stencils, watercolour, oil. I like drawing, charcoal, chalk, that sort of thing. I think that's about it. I don't really do like clay or although I'd like to get back into doing clay work. I used to do that at school. I really enjoyed it. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with stencil work, drawing, painting. I love painting. Absolutely love painting and drawing. Very, very much my passion. And I'm based in West Wales. Oh, sorry. What would you say?
No worries. Yeah, you're based in West Wales. Has living in Wales actually influenced any of your art, or?
When I first moved down here, I painted an awful lot of seascapes, landscapes, because there's a lot of seascape and landscape to paint. And not apart from that, there's like beach art and stuff, you know, drawing on the beach and the stuff you do with kids. Just look at nice stones and, you know, make patterns and things like that. Sort of like arty things. Yeah. But not particularly. I mean, I'd probably be doing what I'm doing now wherever I lived, really.
Yeah, I'm the same. When I came to Cornwall, when I first started painting when I was in my late teens, I was heavily influenced by the scene in Cornwall. I liked Peter Lanyon and his paintings, and I did some sort of in the style of Peter Lanyon and Ben Nicholson's relief works and stuff like that, and St Ives painters. And I was quite heavily influenced by that. But I found that as I've gradually found my artistic voice, who I am, I've moved away from the traditional sort of, you know, and like you say, you know, I'd probably be doing the same paintings wherever I was, you know.
Yeah. I mean, locally, there's an artist, Nat Fisher, and his work was very much sort of like little white cottages against dark grey, stormy skies. Very, very much like those. But yes, I mean, as I say, I'd still be doing what I'm doing wherever I was. You know.
Yeah. So who would you say, or what would you say, influenced your style of art?
Well, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I remember being quite young. My father used to take my brothers off to the football match, and my mum would take myself and my sister to a gallery, and we'd go to National Gallery, the Tate Gallery, the Portrait Gallery, the Horniman Museum, whatever was, you know, if there was a special thing on. And I can remember coming across the artist in residence, and it was Maggie Hamlin. And I can remember standing at the door and watching her drawing. She was drawing with really great big lumps of charcoal and making a right mess with a fag on her lip, you know, and given, you know, this is the National Gallery. And, you know, she's walking around in her trouser suit that look like pajamas, and just being very, very artistic. And she came over and she spoke to me and, you know, removed the rope and let me come in and walk around and said, "So do you think you'd be an artist?" And I was like, "I really like doing this. This isn't like what we do at school." And she showed me how to draw a tree very quickly. And I thought, wow, that's like so simple. And I can remember going into school and drawing a tree the way she showed me, and just sort of, the teacher saying, "God, that's really good," and realizing that actually I could make images. And so I suppose my first influence was her just being herself. And then as I grew older, I fell in love with fashion. I mean, I was growing up in the early 80s, and it was people like Zandra Rhodes and Vivienne Westwood. Vivienne Westwood's still very much with me. Vivienne Westwood. I love her colours and I love her use of fabrics. And then, you know, sort of like as I got older, it was more to do with how people looked. So people like Lee Bowery, Boy George, that sort of thing. And, you know, I'd do anything I could to stop traffic. When I was psychobilly, I had a really massive queer. And I used to, instead of dressing like girls, you know, in jeans and a little t-shirt, I'd wear the biggest pink skirt you could get and loads of petticoats. And I really was sort of like very much, everything about me was artistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just one of those people. I was never that shy and quiet. And, you know, when it came to art on paper and on canvas, I suppose people like William Blake, I fell in love with William Blake's poetry when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And then as an illustrator as well, I love his thin watercolory look. It's so ethereal, and his dreams and nightmares are so beautifully done. And what gave me confidence with William Blake was his figure drawing was always very muscular, but there was always something wrong with it. And you could look and it was full of little mistakes that you say, well, that bit's wrong and that bit's wrong, but it still worked as a picture. And so it gives you confidence that you might not be perfect at doing one thing, but you can certainly make an impression doing another. I don't know. Other artists that influence me. I mean, at the moment, I'm following people who do a lot of drawing because I'm really keen to pick up my drawing. It was something I sort of let go a bit after leaving college. And it's really important to be confident in drawing, because drawing is the basis of all the art that I do. It's not the basis of all art, but it's the basis of all the art I do. And I find I need to be more accurate. So I follow, there's a beautiful artist called Anne McGill. She does these lovely ethereal, smoky figures that sort of emerge from mists.
Oh, right.
I like that sort of thing. Ian Hodgson's another artist. And then on the opposite side, you've got Stomp the Holy Bones, who's like full of mess, very like Maggie Hamlin was. Mess and dirt and oil, and it's just so exciting. I look at their work and I just really want to pick up lumps of charcoal and pens and just make mess and want to draw. And then Guy Denning does on the big walls what he also does on little bits of paper. He's just so clever. You look at his work, oh wow, I wish I could do that. It's the same with Mason Storm. I look at his work and just think, I'll never get that good. But his work is just so perfect and precise. And I'm just so full of admiration for his work. I try. I mean, I was doing a commission recently and there was a certain skin tone I wanted. And I was actually looking at Mason's paintings and I had them on my phone and I was holding the brush next to it thinking, that's the colour I want. And sort of putting it in, that's the colour. But I still can't get that smoothness. It's just so beautifully done. So beautifully done. With my my style of stencil work is very much in what I would describe as an illustrative style. I like John Doe's work in his cleanliness of lines, and a lot of that comes from, there was I don't know if some of us will remember when we were little reading Enid Blyton, but one of her stock illustrators was a woman called Jenny Chappell, and Jenny Chappell does those really beautiful sort of like children with nice chins and little noses and slightly wavy hair, and very much the same linear structure as John Doe's stencil work. And I really like that, and I do try and copy that as often as I can, and I'm trying really hard to develop that as a style. And again, Shepherd's little pencil works. And then when it comes to money art, Saga Moabit and Raphael Bertolini, you just can't. They're just so perfect. They fill that little space, and I love doing money art because you're so disciplined by the size of it and the shape of it that actually there's really you just have to work with what you've got, you know. Yeah, and then, you know, the obvious ones, Banksy, 3D. When it comes to just what I love about Banksy's work is, and I noticed this a few years ago, it's not what he does, it's what he doesn't do. It's the lines he leaves out. It's like with the peace throw, you can see it up there. It's actually, that hand is literally just one little blob of the fingers there. The rest of it doesn't exist. And you look at it and you see a whole hand, but actually all you're looking at is the shadow of like 3 little sausages. And
very clever, isn't it?
It's so clever. So yes, I've been looking at that, trying to sort of like move that into my work, and because it's that whole economy of line. You know, Lowry was an absolute perfection at it. There's a drawing of Lowry's that in 5 lines, he describes a woman standing at a bus stop, exhausted by life. And he uses 5 lines to do that. And that is just, that's genius. It's absolute genius to just be able to make 5 marks and tell a whole life story. And, you know, you can see this woman, it's described as woman at bus stop in the morning. So she's knackered before she's even started her day's work. And you just know her life, you know, she's got an old coat on and she's stooped. It's just, oh, he's so clever. Absolutely love it. Other influences. There's a couple of new artists that I really do like. Nathaniel Newell is a portrait artist. I mean, he does other work. He does drawings and paintings, and he does quite a bit of stencil work and spray work. But actually, his portraits are so exquisitely clever. He gives so much of the person. You can hear their voice, and that's such a rare thing. You look at a portrait, and if he's painted a child laughing, you can hear that child laugh just by looking at the painting. Incredibly clever, and he's certainly one I would say to look out for. Apart from that, Pons, Alias, he's just so, I think development as an artist, he's probably been the greatest influence of all, really. He's boosted me up the arse, he's pushed me, he's gently persuaded me. Big thank you to him, I think. Yeah. So I'll finish on that section with Pons.
There's probably no better place to finish.
I know.
It's a great list, and I love the story about Maggie Hamlin.
With the bag.
what a fabulous memory to have. So,
well, yeah, I didn't even know who she was at the time either.
No, I don't doubt it. But yeah, what a character she is, and you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was quite an extensive list, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, but really good.
Thank you.
So it leads us on to the next question. What advice would you give somebody wanting to develop their creative practice and
don't consciously develop. Just let it come, I think. I've never sort of sat down and thought, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. I've just sat and doodled and let it develop from that doodle. I mean, when I start to do a stencil, I usually start with a charcoal drawing, and then I'll do it in ink. And then from that, I'll see where the shadows need to be. And that's all the bits that are cut out, because a stencil is a drawing with holes cut out of it. Basically, I would say if you're starting out, whatever you want to do with art, open yourself a little Instagram account and put all your work on there, because when people want to follow you, you can tell them to follow that, not follow taking the kids to the park, falling out of a bus drunk. Yeah. You want to keep your family and your private life separate from your art life, basically. And I would say Instagram is probably the greatest gift us artists have got in the 21st century, to be honest, because before Instagram, you literally trailed around with an A1 portfolio and you had to find people to look at your portfolio. Now we've got a situation where 20,000 people can see your work within the space of a week without you even contacting them to start with. So it's such an amazing gift. And also I would say, if somebody reacts to your work and says, I really like that, say thank you, and look at their work, follow them too, and just be really nice and friendly and open. And as I say, just thank people, you know, thank you for saying it's nice. Would you like to see some more? And post stuff. Also, when you notice that something gets a lot of likes on it, think, right, okay, people like that, and use that as a mark to give you an idea of what people like to look at and where that gets you. And also take note of all the hashtags, make sure you hashtag it properly, and so it gets to the right people in the right places. You know, and when it comes to critics, ignore them. It's really hard, but sometimes just switch everything off, go and have a cup of tea, go for a walk, go walk the dog, whatever. Just ignore critics, and don't let them know it makes you cry, because then they're winning and they can't win, because you've got hundreds more friends that want you to succeed than you do people wanting to pull you down.
Absolutely. I think that the communities online, definitely the ones that I'm involved in, are very, very supportive, and you know, you can ask questions, you can post things, you can ask for critique if you want it, you know, and people will very nicely give you the critique that you need, you know, say, oh, have you thought about this, or have you done, you know, you could change this slightly, or I think you've done this really well, but this needs some work on, or whatever, which is really helpful as an artist.
Yeah, it is really helpful. And you know, do follow advice you get as well, and trust people. You know, there's some people you can really, really trust, and if they say, I don't think this is working, take note of it, because they're probably right, you know. Just don't be afraid, you know, don't be afraid of social media. Use it, it's your friend.
I think social media as well, for somebody who's starting out, it gives you the opportunity to talk to people who have been where you were five years ago, say, you know. You find somebody who will actually talk to you and actually communicate with you, who's 5 years ahead of you on the journey, and you know, where they're going, they can give you advice. And you know, I've certainly found that with some of the artists that I talk to, that you know, they're way ahead of me on the journey where, you know, I'd like to be one day. But you know, at the end of the day, they're there to use as that knowledge base, you know, and say, well, what did you do? How did you do this? What do you think about this? How do we do this? You know, is it worth doing this?
Yeah. I mean, I've had some really good chats with some artists. I mean, John Doe's been really supportive. He's been brilliant. You know, and just take note. And if you see something you like, tell them you like it. You know, because even people like Mason need to get feedback. And you know, it can be really lonely sitting in your studio 24/7. And yeah, it's important, and it's important to give honest feedback as well, you know, obviously within reason, but you know, it is important. And make the most of the friendships you make, you know.
Definitely.
You know, we're all here to support each other. And you know, and that's what collaborations are all about. I mean, collaborations are fantastic things where you're good at one thing, somebody else is good at something else. You can put the two together and you can make something that's really, really amazing. You know, and that's what I love about, you know, the secret society. It's full of people really enthusiastic about, oh, you know how you can do this, you know how you can do that. And if you turn around and say, well, actually, I can't do that, it's like, oh, well, I can help you. Great, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the secret society of supervillain artists has definitely given us a wide range of people who we can tap into the skills of with very, very different skill sets. You've got some people who, have brilliant digital skills. You have some people who are brilliant at painting, some people who are brilliant at spraying. You've got all those different skills that you can think, oh, I want to have a try at that. Oh, so-and-so is really good at that. I could ask them what I need to do.
Yeah.
Whether this is doing it right or what I'm doing wrong, why that's smudging or whatever. Why I'm getting over spray on stencil or whatever, you can pick their brains, which most of the people I've spoken to online have always been quite willing to share that knowledge, which
absolutely
is
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Lynn Tosher, I'll be talking about her later on, but she's been absolutely brilliant helping. When it comes to murals and stuff, there aren't many people who don't know. Who don't have her breadth of knowledge about wall preparation and things like that are actually really, really important. When you're going to be paid to paint somebody's wall, you don't want it washing off, in 3 months' time, because then they come back and they'll complain and they'll tell everybody that you're lousy. So it is really important. And as I say, that there are experts. There's always an expert. It's always worth asking that question. Can anybody give me advice?
Fab. So we move on to question number 4, which is the one I love asking people. If you could spend 24 hours with an artist, living or dead, who would you spend 24 hours with, and what would you do?
Well, I would sit quietly in the corner, because the 24 hours I want are the 24 hours that Robert Del Naja decided to paint the Mona Lisa without a smile. I saw that picture in Vanguard and in the M-Shed exhibition. They're still going on, and it's going on, I think, until the end of October. And there's a little picture on my wall that I downloaded from the internet in our local library about 25 years ago. It was a long time ago. It's been with me through 2 houses, that. And I didn't even know it was by him. And what struck me about that particular image was the stenciled eyes and the face. It reminded me of the Bauhaus, of something that would have come out in the 1920s, 1930s. And then in Vanguard, I saw this young boy photographed between 2 paintings. And one is a test tube baby, and the other is the Mona Lisa without a smile. And they really struck me as being, when I looked at the date, I think it was 1986, 87 or something. And it really surprised me that something as innovative as that came out of someone so young, and we didn't know about it. Work as important as that should be in a national collection somewhere. It was an absolute pivotal moment in art history, and it happened in Bristol. And it was this young lad who's gone on to do massively great things, but it's absolutely pivotal in art history, and it's not known about, it's not written about, it's not talked about. And you can almost bring down he took a material, aerosol spray, which up until that time had been used to either spray cars or the odd shoe train, the odd wall, and he used it in a method that is as fine art as any fine artist coming out of the Slade or the Royal College or any of those big important colleges. And he did it in a youth club in Bristol. And I kept going back to it. And in fact, I'm going back to Vanguard in a few weeks' time because I really want to go back and see this. And it's only a little photograph. I want to see the whole big thing, and I want to see it full size. And he only looks sort of like, I don't know, 15, maybe 19 or something, really young. And it just blew me away. And so up until that time, I can't think of any artist that actually, I remember being around, in the early 80s, mid 80s. There was nobody doing that. Absolutely nobody. And nobody really started doing it in any great earnest until the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know, it really was that innovative. So he's 15 years ahead of his time. So I would really like to go back and sit quietly in a corner of the studio and just watch him do that. If I could, that would be my time machine.
That'd be great. Yeah. What a great moment to share. Yeah. So final question. What's in store? What's in store for the future? Are you working on anything currently, or anything coming up that you could share with us today?
Well, week on Saturday, I'm in Weston-super-Mare.
Hey.
I'm doing a paint jam. It's my first proper paint jam, actually, because of COVID. You know, it's really not been possible to get out for the last couple of years. So I'm going to. I have been out and about, and I have been spraying, but maybe not where I was supposed to. No, I'm going to Weston-super-Mare, and so I'll be doing that with Lynn Tusha Secret Share. Then I've got a couple of things coming up. I'm starting to work on a little self-directed project, actually. I picked up some 1922 Deutschmarks, right. And I've always loved the work of Paul Klee, so I'm going to set myself a little project doing some Paul Klee style stuff on 1922, because in 1923 was the great exhibition at Bauhaus. And I do keep talking about Bauhaus. I love Bauhaus, and I love what they did there, and I love the whole thing around equality and solidarity, and the fact that it was closed down by the government, and the fact that there's a few parallels actually between what happened then and what happened in the early 90s in places like Barton Hill, where, you know, the government basically wanted to close down our entire culture, which is such a shocking thing to think about. So yes, I'm doing that a little bit, and then I've got an exhibition coming up in November in London.
Oh wow!
Not too sure about the size, shape, or I've got an idea where it possibly is. It's possibly in a place called Electro Works, which used to be Slimelight for us oldies and us ex-goths and stuff, and punks, what have you, down at the Angel. And that sounds really exciting. I'm really, really excited about that. Actually, yeah, I'm really eek, excited. And there's a couple of other things happening in between, nothing quite confirmed yet. And of course, there's the Background Bob opening on the 18th of September in Colchester. So if you're in the area, please come down and see that. I think that's going on till January. That's going to be a big exhibition in a big art centre they've got there. Anything else coming up? Possibly a couple of collaborations, maybe. Could be interesting. We'll see.
Fabulous. I look forward to seeing you in Weston.
You there as well. That'd be lovely. We can have another cup of tea.
I'm painting really there. Nice.
I won't leave my wallet behind this time.
Weston-super-Mare is like last year I painted there. It was the only place I painted, and it's the only place I'm painting this year. So yeah, it seems to be my regular go-to. So
that'd be lovely. Yeah, that'd be really. Oh yeah, I look forward to that, Darren. That'd be great.
Yeah, should be good.
Yeah,
should be good.
Yes,
I'm still not sure what I'm painting, but
I'm working on my designs as we speak. Actually, I have got loads of bits of paper. I am working on it. I've got plans. I don't like going completely blind. And I did a thing in London last week where I was literally given a board and draw. And luckily I had some charcoal with me that we'd been camping, and I collected some charcoal and collected some chalk. And I was originally going to do a spray, and then I thought, I'll do a drawing. And I did. It was okay. It was really quite nice, actually, doing like a really big drawing again. It's sort of big lumps of charcoal. Again, that whole getting messy thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got an idea what I'm doing in Weston. Just hope the weather holds up, really.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, legs crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky last year. We were there for the weekend last year, and they did it very differently last year because we could only paint on alternate boards. So on the Saturday you've got like number 1, number 3, and number 5 painted, and then on the Sunday you got number 2, number 4, and number 6 painted. So it wasn't as crowded as it would normally be because of social distancing and everything else. So, but I think this year it's going to have a feel of a proper paint jam, you know, which
should be nice. It'd be nice to see loads of people as well. Yeah, it will be nice to start seeing people again. Definitely. Please God, everything's going to be okay. You know, fingers crossed, as I say, fingers really crossed. We should be all right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I. Yes, it should be interesting, exciting.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out this evening to do the interview, and it's been really informative. Thank you, and thank you for sharing all your. I'm still trying to get over the Maggie Hamlin bit. You know,
talking to a little 11-year-old.
Yeah, I think that's just amazing.
And you know, I'm pretty sure it was the National Gallery.
I remember going to Barbara Hepworth's studio in St Ives for the first time and standing there at the stable door and looking at where she used to work and thinking how amazing it would have been to just be able to see her working, you know. And I think sometimes that experience of seeing another artist work, I love watching other artists work. And
so do I.
To have had that experience at the age of 11 with Maggie Hamlin, I'm very jealous.
Well, actually, about a year later, we bumped into David Shepherd. He was the artist in residence at London Zoo, and that was amazing for my little sister because she does these really beautiful fine drawings. I mean, both of us are blessed to be very artistic, but yes, she sat quietly with him for an afternoon drawing elephants.
Brilliant.
I know.
Brilliant.
It's just luck, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think London sometimes offers that opportunity probably more than anywhere else in the UK.
Yeah, I know. You're in Cornwall, I'm in Wales. We know what it's like to be in a rural place. You can't get anywhere after 4 o'clock if you need a bus, you know. Yeah, I know that feeling.
I did have the opportunity to interview, I don't know whether you know the artist, David Kemp. I interviewed him for my art A-level as an adult learner at Truro College a few years ago. And I went down to his studio, which is down on the north coast of Cornwall, and he makes stuff with junk. You know, he makes stuff out of old welly boots and things. He did the Gallagher Hounds, which is quite a famous piece, which is in the middle of Redruth. And he's done loads of stuff at the Eden Project and things with recycled things. And he's a really nice bloke, and he just took the time out to just show me around his studio, and I recorded it all on a voice recorder, and really enjoyed meeting him, and absolutely loved the experience. So yeah, and you know, seeing him work was amazing.
It is. It's lovely just talking to other artists, and I never tire of it, really.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's been great talking to you. And
it's lovely chatting to you. I could chat for hours.
yeah. I find that with these interviews is that I get towards the end and I don't want to stop, but I need to.
That's fine. No, I totally understand.
Thank you very much. And if you like what you've heard today and seen today, then please hit the subscribe button below and subscribe to the channel. I will be interviewing loads more artists over the coming weeks. So please just hit the subscribe button, and then you'll get to know about all the interviews as they appear. And thank you very much for your time.
You're more than welcome, Darren. Thank you.
Thank you.